Okay, so is having 2 people in the room enough to qualify as co-teaching? Do some schools think it is? Is that happening in some places? Yes, in some places we've just got 2 physical adults in the room coexisting, and they're calling it co-teaching, okay? And then we've upped the ante a little bit so that in some places what they feel like is, well, as long as it's a general ed teacher and a special ed teacher, it must be co-teaching. Okay? Is that true? Of course not. What are the kinds of things that you are seeing in the classroom where there are 2 people there, but you wouldn't say it's co-teaching? Someone want to share? That is not co-teaching. It's 2 people, but you would not say it's co-teaching. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, is that, and you signed it, and you should know this, but we are being videotaped and we're live streamed in case people missed this, and then it will be videotaped and used for other people who have missed it. I tell you that not to discourage your participation. I'm hoping you will still participate, but it also means that I will always be going over to you with the microphone because we do need to make sure that we're getting your questions and answers and that everybody hears, okay? So, what's your name?
Joy.
Joy, okay, Joy, tell us what's something where you've seen it, 2 people in the room, not co-teaching.
When one teacher is teaching and the other one is just kind of there, maybe helping, maybe not, maybe...
Joy, I think you're the only person in this room with that experience. No one else has ever seen that happen. Right, guys? Let's make complete fun of her because that never happens in the room, ever. Anybody want to say something other than that? That's what we see a lot, right? Yeah, what's your name?
Erin.
Erin.
When one teacher does all the planning and all the decision making and all the grading and the other person has no say.
Again, only your experience. Because most high school teachers I know are really excited to share all the time. Their classrooms, the students, the grading, they love it. All right, anybody else? All right, hold on to those thoughts because we are going to come back to that question. All right, so it's not enough to have 2 adults in the room. It doesn't matter if it's gen ed and special ed. And by the way, I will sometimes say that, gen ed, special ed. I will not call you regular educators because if you're regular ed, that makes us irregular, and that may be very true of some of us, but, and we wear it proudly, but really it's better to say general education, special education. And by the way, every kid is general ed first. They're all our kids, and then some of them get additional services because of their special needs. So true co-teaching takes 3 things. Some of you have done this a lot and you know that this is what co-teaching is supposed to be. For some of you, you're here tonight because you want to learn what co-teaching is. So if I were to have you walk away with anything tonight, I would have you walk away with these 3 things. 3 things that you must do to co-teach. The first one is co-planning. So we already heard someone say, well, when one person does all the planning, all the grading, all the instructing, that's not co-teaching. That's accurate. So what do we actually see happening a lot related to co-planning? What are people doing or not doing? Go ahead, what's your name? I'm going to do this right here. What's your name?
I'm Maureen.
Maureen, okay.
And basically they're just not, they don't have time to get together and plan, number one. Yeah.
And yet, so it's not happening. It's essentially what she's saying. Maureen's saying they don't have time to plan together, but they're just not co-planning together. Do you guys see that as an issue? Okay, and next time we're going to talk about, when we meet again next time, we'll talk about what are some of the issues of finding time, and also then how do you use your time more efficiently to plan. But we do, in order for it to be true co-teaching, real co-teaching, it's not your way or my way. It doesn't matter if you have taught math for 27 years and I'm a special educator coming in my first year teaching. I'm still supposed to bring something to the table. In fact, I think I still do bring something to the table, but I need to have the option of co-planning with you so that I'm able to bring in some of those ideas. Second thing is we're supposed to co-instruct. So both of us are in front of the kids. If you don't have both of you up in front of the kids, what happens?
You rely more on one.
I'll get here, 1 and then 2. What's your name? Maria.
They rely more on one teacher than the other.
Okay, they rely more on one teacher than the other. What's another one? What's your name?
Strong. The kids don't show more respect to the other teacher. Lack of respect for the teacher that's doing nothing.
Yeah, because if one of you always gets FaceTime, even if the other person's doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work, kids don't see that. And then what we end up doing is we go over and say, hey, can I help you? And he says, no, I'll wait for the real teacher. And you're not allowed to hit kids. So there goes that strategy. So like they both said, it's not just that, one of them is seen as the real teacher, it's also a lack of respect. They start to feel like you are the assistant, you are the aide. Paraprofessionals do a lot of work, and they should get a lot of respect for the work they do. However, if you are here as a credentialed general education or special education teacher, you've gone to school to know how to plan, to teach, to assess. And you should be seen as a teacher, not as an assistant. And that's why we know a lot of special educators burn out. So we co-plan, we co-instruct, and the last thing we do is we co-assess. We have to look at the grading. We have to see, are the kids learning this stuff? We also have to co-assess each other. Did you tick me off today? Did I do your pet peeve? So now you're really annoyed and you don't want to work with me again? That's co-assessing the kids and co-assessing each other. Those are the 3 things we must be doing in order to be truly co-teaching. Major tenets of co-teaching. I will tell you there are 6 things. And I'm going to ask you the question of what percent, because a lot of you are math people. Where are my math people? Raise your hands. This is a percent problem. Are you guys happy? I'm about to ask you math. Okay, what percent of these do you think we do well nationally? We are supposed to have parity. Oh, you know what? This is not going to be the percent problem. That's coming up in a minute. Sorry, I know you got you so excited about math. Sorry. All right, these are the things we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have parity, meaning we're supposed to be equals. You don't trump me, I don't trump you. Okay, could you stand up for a minute, Strong? What's going to happen when we disagree? Right? And yet, he doesn't trump me. He doesn't win just because he's big and kind of intimidating. He's a big teddy bear. Sit down. All right. I'm not even having you stand up. See how nice I am? Right? All right. It's not about size. It's not about years of teaching. It's not about who's louder, who's quieter, who the kids like better. We are equals. And that's really important because honestly, a lot of times with high school, we're talking about content. And I totally get that the person who's taught science for 30 years and has years of experience, has master's degree, doctorate, whatever, and then is looking at somebody else going, you don't even know science. Right? The whole like stoichi, what? Stoichiometry, never heard of it. But I'll co-teach it with you, yeah. Right? And then some of us are looking at this stuff going, I haven't done that level of math since I was in school, and even then I kind of struggled. But we're equals. So one of the things we're going to have to do is figure out how do we take that equality and use it so that we're using our strengths. Because each of us has something we bring to the table. And sometimes it's not the content. Sometimes it's a strategy. Sometimes it's differentiation. Sometimes it's the kids like us. Sometimes it's we know parents and we do well with parents. But we got to figure out what that is. We have our shared expertise, our shared resources, and even time. I can't work on Tuesday nights because I'm taking a class at CSUN and your partner goes, you know what, I'll take the grading on Tuesday nights. Awesome. All of these things need to be shared. I've already mentioned that we need to share the planning, the instructing, and the assessing. And then another major one, and this is the one at the high school level I think often we're missing. Most often we're missing. We get 2 people, they like each other, they're in there, they're co-teaching, they're having a ball, they're having the kids do different things, they're enjoying it. And yet what I'm still not seeing, and this is from a national perspective, I'm still not seeing true differentiation. I see grouping. I see that when it comes to testing, some kids get pulled out and have it read to them or have extra time. But that's it. That's the level. Where's the specially designed instruction? Where are we truly doing something different in this class of 40 kids? And that's hard to do, but I will tell you it's almost impossible to do if you have 1 teacher. With 2 teachers, you guys have a shot. And that's what we want to try and figure out how to do so that, again, you keep your sanity and you're effective with kids. All right, here's your math problem. So these are the components that are supposed to be in co-teaching. And we do a percentage of these very, very well. Get 2 or more adults together. Make sure they are both professionals, credentialed teachers. Have them collaborate. Have them share the instruction in the classroom. Have a diverse group of students. And have them in the same physical space, meaning the same classroom. What percent of these do you guys think we do really, really well nationally? Okay, so a percent of, let's see, there are 6 bullets, so that's 1/6 if you're saying just 2 or more. Somebody said 50% because they somehow managed to take one of those bullets and, oh no, they did 3. Okay, so they're saying we got 3 of the 6. What did you say? 66.67%, 2/3. That it's 2/3. Actually, 2/3 we don't do well. Only 2/3. 4/6. 2/3 we do very, very well, and 1/3 we don't do well at. Because we are, in terms of having 2 or more adults, we rock at that. Schools have no problem taking 2 or more teachers and sticking them in the same room with a bunch of kids. Yeah, 2/3, that's pretty good, right? The whole collaborating, sharing instruction thing we seem to struggle with. But we have a lot of schools. Do you know that co-teaching is the #1 way nationally that schools, and this is K-12, that schools are addressing the needs of students with disabilities in the general ed class? This is the #1 way that we're doing inclusion, that we are including kids with disabilities, and schools say, well, we do co-teaching. And yet what we find is, we do putting 2 adults in the same room, not even always for the whole period, right? But they're there for some time. And somehow we've got magic fairy dust, so that by doing a drive-by on kids, we're really able to save those disabilities that they've had since birth. Yeah, it's no problem.